The number on my screen was one I'd memorized 33 years ago. The number I'd called every birthday, every Christmas, every Father's Day, for 3 decades. The number that never answered. Until tonight. My daughter's voice came through the line. Barely a whisper, "Dad, please don't hang up. I'm 61 years old. My name is Michael." And the last time I heard my daughter's voice, she was 19 years old and screaming that she never wanted to see me again. If you've ever lost someone you love, hit that like button. This story needs to be heard. I need to tell you who I was, not who I am now. Who I was in 1991. I was 28 years old, sales manager at a tech company in Seattle, married to Jennifer, father to a little girl named Emma. Emma was 4 years old, blonde curls, gap in her front teeth, the kind of kid who laughed at everything, who brought me dandelions like they were roses, who fell asleep on my chest every Sunday afternoon while we watched cartoons. I was her hero. She told me that once. "You're my hero, Daddy." I was also an alcoholic. Not the falling down drunk kind. Not yet. The functional kind. The kind who has 3 drinks at lunch, 6 beers after work, a bottle of wine at dinner. The kind who tells himself he's fine because he's still making money, still showing up to work, still functioning. Jennifer saw it. She tried to talk to me about it. I told her she was overreacting, that I had everything under control, that every guy in sales drank like this. It was part of the job. She stopped arguing with me after a while. That should have been my warning. When someone stops fighting, it means they've already given up. Emma was 7 when Jennifer filed for divorce. I remember the day she told me. I was on my 3rd scotch. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. "I'm taking Emma," Jennifer said, "and I'm asking you not to fight me on this." I should have sobered up right then. Should have begged. Should have promised to change. Instead, I poured another drink and told her to do whatever she wanted. The custody hearing was brutal. Jennifer's lawyer had receipts, police reports from the 2 dues I'd gotten, medical records from the time I'd fallen down the stairs, drunk, and broken my wrist, testimony from neighbors who'd heard me yelling at 2 o'clock in the morning. The judge gave Jennifer full custody. I got supervised visitation every other Saturday, 4 hours. A social worker sitting in the corner taking notes. I showed up drunk to the 3rd visit. The social worker smelled it on me. Called Jennifer. The visits stopped after that. I didn't see Emma for 2 years. By the time I got sober, by the time I'd gone through rehab and actually stuck with it, she was 9 years old. Jennifer had remarried. A man named David, a high school teacher. The kind of man who coached Little League and volunteered at the food bank. The kind of man I should have been. The court gave me visitation rights again. Unsupervised this time. Every other weekend, Emma came to my apartment in silence. She'd grown so much in 2 years. Lost the baby fat in her cheeks. Her hair was darker. She looked like Jennifer now. Those weekends were the hardest thing I've ever done. She barely spoke to me. Sat on the couch reading books. Answered my questions with one word. Yes, no, fine, okay. I tried everything. Took her to the movies, the zoo, the science center. Bought her presents. None of it worked. She was polite, distant. Like I was a stranger she was being forced to spend time with. Because that's what I was. A stranger who happened to share her DNA. When she turned 13, she started refusing to come. Jennifer would call and say Emma didn't want to visit. That she had plans with friends. That she had homework. That she didn't feel well. I should have fought harder. Should have insisted. But I told myself I was respecting her boundaries. Giving her space. The truth is, I was relieved. Those silent weekends were killing me. Every minute with her was a reminder of what I destroyed. By the time she was 15, the visits had stopped completely. I'd see her at her school events, soccer games, theater performances. I'd sit in the back row. She'd spot me. Her face would go cold. She'd look away. Her 16th birthday, I sent a card with $100. She sent it back. The envelope unopened. My handwriting crossed out. Return to sender written in her teenage scrawl. That's when I understood. She wasn't just angry. She hated me. And she had every right to. I kept trying. Called her on her 17th birthday. The phone went straight to voicemail. I left a message. Told her I loved her. That I was sorry. That I understood if she never wanted to talk to me again. But I needed her to know I thought about her every single day. She never called back. Her high school graduation was in June 1998. I wasn't invited. I went anyway. Sat in the parking lot in my car. Watched through the window as families took pictures. As kids threw their caps in the air. As Jennifer and David stood on either side of Emma, beaming with pride. I watched Emma smile. Really smile. The kind of smile that reaches your eyes. The kind she used to give me when she was 4 years old. And I realized she was happy. She had a good life. A real family. And I was the ghost from her past that she'd successfully buried. I started my car and drove away before the ceremony ended. It was the last time I saw her in person. 3 months later, she left for college. Stanford. Full scholarship. Jennifer sent me a photo in a mail. Just one. Emma standing in front of her dorm. That's all the email said. Thought you should know. I printed that photo. Put it in a frame on my bedside table. It's still there today. A picture of my daughter at 18. Smiling at a future that didn't include me. I kept calling. Kept sending cards. Kept trying. 4 years. Every birthday. Every holiday. Every milestone I could remember or guess at. Graduation from Stanford. Her 25th birthday. Her 30th. All of it met with silence. Jennifer stopped responding to my emails after Emma turned 21. She's an adult now, Jennifer wrote. This is her choice. Please respect it. So I did. I respected it. But I never stopped trying. I just stopped expecting an answer. I got sober for good in 1993. 29 years sober as of last month. I've been to over 1,000 AA meetings. Sponsored 6 people through the program. I'm a regional manager now. Same company, different city, Portland. I remarried in 2001. Her name is Carol. She knows about Emma. About what I did. About the daughter who won't speak to me. Carol's been patient. Never pushed me to give up. Never suggested I move on. She knows that some wounds don't heal. They just become part of who you are. Last Tuesday, I couldn't sleep. Happens sometimes. I was sitting in the living room, 2 o'clock in the morning, drinking chamomile tea, watching old Twilight Zone episodes with the volume low so I wouldn't wake Carol. My phone lit up on the coffee table. No sound, just the screen glowing in the dark. I glanced at it. Probably a spam call. You know the kind. Extended warranty. Student loan forgiveness. But the area code was 206. Seattle. And the number. I knew that number. I'd called it 10,000 times. Maybe more. Emma's number. My hand shook as I reached for the phone. It rang 4 times. I was so sure it would go to voicemail. That this was an accident. A pocket dial. That she'd realize and hang up. On the 5th ring, I answered. Hello. Silence on the other end. But not empty silence. I could hear breathing. Soft. Shaky. Someone was there. Hello? I said again. My voice cracking. More silence. Then a voice I hadn't heard in 33 years. Older now. Deeper. But unmistakably hers. Dad. Please don't hang up. I couldn't breathe. My chest felt like someone was sitting on it. The room spun. I gripped the arm of the couch to steady myself. Emma? I whispered. Yeah, she said. It's me. I waited. Didn't say anything. Terrified that if I spoke, she'd disappear again. I know it's late, she continued. Her voice was tight, like she was forcing the words out. I know I have no right to call you. I didn't know who else. She trailed off. I could hear her crying now, trying to hide it. Failing. Emma. What's wrong? The words came out harder than I meant. Protective. The voice of a father I hadn't been allowed to be for 3 decades. I'm at the hospital. She said. Swedish Medical Center. In Seattle. I'm okay. Physically. But God, I don't even know how to say this. Just tell me, I said. Whatever it is. Just tell me. She took a long, shaky breath. My daughter, Claire. She's 8 years old. She was in an accident tonight. A car ran a red light. Hit the passenger side. Where she was sitting. My heart stopped. Is she? She's alive. Emma said quickly. She's in surgery right now. They think she's going to be okay. But it's bad, Dad. Her leg is. They had to put rods in. And there's internal bleeding. And I'm sitting here in this waiting room and all I can think about is, she stopped. Sobbed once. Hard. All I can think about is how I don't know how to do this alone. And my husband, he's in Singapore for work. He can't get a flight back until tomorrow night. And my mom died 4 years ago. Cancer. And David moved to Arizona after she passed. And I'm sitting here, and I realized I don't have anyone and the one person I used to call Dad. When I was scared, her voice broke completely. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry for calling. I didn't know what else to do." I was already moving, grabbing my keys off the kitchen counter. My wallet, my jacket. "What floor?" I asked. What floor of the hospital? Which wing?" "Fourth floor. Pediatric ICU. But you don't have to." "I'm in Portland," I said, already out the door. "I'll be there in 3 hours. Probably less. You stay right where you are. Do you understand me? You stay there." Dad, her voice was so small, so broken, like she was 7 years old again. "I'm coming," I said. "I'm coming right now." I hung up, ran back inside, scribbled a note for Carol. "Emma called. Hospital, Seattle. I'll explain later." The drive to Seattle is normally 3 hours. I made it in 40 minutes. I shouldn't have. I know. But my daughter needed me. My granddaughter. God, I had a granddaughter. An 8-year-old girl I'd never met, who was in surgery right now fighting for her life. I pulled into the hospital parking garage at 5 o'clock in the morning, took the elevator to the 4th floor, followed signs to the pediatric ICU waiting room. It was a small space. Uncomfortable chairs, vending machines, ATV playing the early morning news with no sound. Emma was sitting in the corner, alone, her head in her hands. She was 52 years old. My little girl was 52. Her hair was brown now with streaks of gray. She wore jeans and an oversized sweater. No makeup. Her eyes red and swollen. She looked up as I walked in. Our eyes met. For the first time in 33 years. I didn't know what to do. Didn't know if I was allowed to hug her. Didn't know what she needed from me. She stood up, slowly, and then she crossed the room and fell into my arms. She sobbed against my chest, her whole body shaking. I held her the way I used to when she was 4 years old and had nightmares. One hand on her back, one hand on her head, telling her without words that it was going to be okay. We stood like that for a long time. Other people in the waiting room looked away, gave us privacy. Some moments are to witness. Finally, Emma pulled back, wiped her face with her sleeve. "I'm sorry," she said. "I'm a mess." "You're Mom," I said. "You're exactly what you should be." She almost smiled. "Almost. Thank you for coming. I know I had no right to ask." "You're my daughter," I said simply. "You always had the right." We sat down. She told me everything. About Claire. About the accident. About the surgery that was still happening. About her husband Mark, who was on a plane somewhere over the Pacific. About her life I had missed. She'd gotten married at 26. Had Claire at 44. Late in life baby. Miracle baby, she called her. She worked as a therapist now. Specialized in addiction counseling. The irony wasn't lost on either of us. She told me about Jennifer's death. How sudden it was. How she'd never gotten to say the things she needed to say. "That's why I called," Emma said quietly. "When they told me Claire might not make it through surgery, all I could think was, I did the same thing to you that I'm terrified of doing to her. I cut you out for 33 years. And if something happens to Claire tonight, she'll never know her grandfather. And I'll have to live with that." "Nothing's going to happen to Claire," I said, even though I had no idea if that was true. A doctor came out at 6:30 a.m., still in surgical scrubs, tired eyes. But she was smiling. That's what mattered. She was smiling. "Ms. Reeves," she said. Emma jumped up. I stood with her. The doctor looked at me, questioned silently who I was. "My father," Emma said. And hearing her say those words broke something in me I didn't know was still intact. "Claire's out of surgery," the doctor said. "It went well. Better than expected. The internal bleeding was less severe than we thought. We've stabilized her leg. She's going to need physical therapy. Probably months of it. But she's going to be okay." Emma's knees buckled. I caught her, held her up while she cried. Relief this time. Pure, overwhelming relief. "Can I see her?" Emma asked. "She's in recovery right now. Still sedated. But in about an hour, yes. We'll come get you." The doctor left. Emma and I sat back down. She leaned against my shoulder, the way she used to during Sunday afternoon cartoons when she was 4. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "For everything. For 33 years. For not answering your calls. For not reading your letters. For hating you when you were just sick." "No," I said firmly. Don't apologize. You were a kid. You had every right to be angry. What I did, there's no excuse for it. I destroyed our family. I destroyed your childhood. That's on me, not you. But I'm a therapist, she said. I work with addicts every single day. I tell their families that addiction is a disease, that their loved ones are sick, not bad. And I couldn't extend that same grace to my own father. You don't owe me grace, I said. You owed yourself peace. And if cutting me out gave you that, then you did the right thing. She shook her head, sat up, looked at me. I haven't had peace. Not for 33 years. I've been angry. At you. At myself. At Mom for keeping us apart even after you got sober. At the universe for making me choose between my parents. She paused, wiped her eyes. I wanted to call you so many times. When I graduated college. When I got married. When Claire was born. Every time something good happened. I thought, my dad should know this. And then I'd remember all the bad things and I'd talk myself out of it. Emma, I said gently. You don't have to explain. Yes, I do. She interrupted. Because I need you to know it wasn't about you getting sober or not. It was about me being scared to forgive you. Because if I forgave you, I'd have to admit that I wasted 33 years being angry at a man who'd been trying to make amends. The entire time, a nurse came out then. Ms. Reeves, your daughter's awake. She's asking for you. Emma stood, looked at me. Will you come with me? Please, I nodded. Too emotional to speak. We followed the nurse down a long hallway, into a room filled with machines. Beeping. Lights. A small figure in the bed. Claire was tiny. Blonde hair. Her mother's eyes. Her left leg in a cast. Tubes in her arms. But awake. Alert. Mommy, she said when she saw Emma. Her voice hoarse from the breathing tube. I'm here, baby, Emma said, rushing to her side. I'm right here. Claire's eyes found me, standing in the doorway. Who's that? Emma looked back at me, then at her daughter. That's your grandpa. My dad. Claire studied me. 8 years old and already wise beyond her years. I didn't know I had a grandpa. You do, Emma said softly. You always have. Claire held out her small hand to me. Hi, Grandpa. I crossed the room, took her hand. Hi, Claire. It's really nice to meet you. Mommy says I was brave, Claire said. In the accident, I didn't cry. You're the bravest girl I've ever met, I said. And I meant it. Emma, then I stayed with Claire all day. Mark arrived that evening, rushed straight from the airport. He shook my hand, thanked me for being there. Didn't ask questions about where I'd been for the past 52 years. There'd be time for that later. Before I left that night, Emma walked me to the parking garage. We stood by my car, the Seattle rain starting to fall. Will you come back? She asked. Tomorrow, and the day after that. I know we have a lot to talk about, a lot to work through, but I'd like to try. If you're willing, Emma, I said. I've been willing for 33 years. I'll be here every single day if you'll let me. She hugged me then, tight. The kind of hug that says everything words can't. I love you, Dad, she whispered. I never stopped. Even when I hated you, I never stopped loving you. I love you too, sweetheart, I said. I always have. I always will. That was 3 weeks ago. I've driven to Seattle every weekend since. Claire came home from a hospital last Friday. She's doing well. Started physical therapy this week. She calls me Grandpa Mike. Asked me to tell her stories about when her mom was little. Emma and I talk on the phone now. Every few days. We're taking it slow. Relearning each other. She's coming to Portland next month. She wants to meet Carol. Wants to see where I live. Who I've become. Last night, Emma sent me a photo. Claire in her hospital bed. Smiling. Holding a sign that says, "Thank you, Grandpa Mike." I cried when I saw it. Carol found me sitting on the edge of our bed, phone in hand, tears streaming down my face. Happy tears? She asked. Yeah, I said. Happy tears. I thought I'd lost my daughter forever. For 33 years, I lived with that loss. That guilt. That certainty that I'd destroyed something that could never be repaired. And then at 2:11 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, my phone rang, and my daughter whispered words I never thought I'd hear again. Dad, please don't hang up. I didn't hang up. I drove 3 hours through the night. I held my daughter while she cried. I met my granddaughter for the first time, and I learned that it's never too late. That forgiveness isn't about deserving it. It's about being willing to receive it when it's offered. If you're estranged from someone you love, Don't give up. Keep trying. Keep showing up. Even when it feels hopeless. Even when every call goes unanswered. Even when every letter is returned. Keep trying, because 33 years from now, at 2:11 in the morning, your phone might ring, and the voice on the other end might whisper your name. And you'll have exactly one chance to do the right thing. To say yes. To say I'm coming. To drive through the night. To be there. Finally, after all this time, I'm 61 years old. I've been sober for 29 years. I work hard. I pay my bills. I go to meetings. I try to be a good husband to Carol. And now, after 33 years, I'm learning how to be a father again. And a grandfather for the first time. Claire asked me yesterday if I was sad that I missed so much of her mom's life. So much of her life. Yes, I told her honestly. I'm sad about that every single day. But you're here now, she said. 8 years old. Wise beyond measure. And mommy says that's what matters. She's right. I'm here now. And I'm not going anywhere. Not ever again. If this story touched you, if you've ever lost time with someone you love, hit that subscribe button. Share this story. Because somewhere out there, someone needs to hear that it's never too late to come.